Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at a major biotech player, really a case study in how you take success in one spot and, well, use it to build something much bigger, much more diverse.
Exactly.
We're digging into their Q3 2025 results, pipeline updates, basically focusing on the strategy now that they've really cemented their leadership in cystic fibrosis.
Yeah, it's all about that transition, isn't it? They built this incredible foundation, this cash engine with the CF drugs.
Right.
And now they're deploying it
Yeah.
aggressively. So our mission today is really to see, how are the new bets paying off? This non-opioid pain medicine, JOURNAVX, the gene therapy, CASGEVY, which is complex stuff. And maybe the biggest piece, looking closely at what seems to be their next major growth area, kidneys, renal diseases.
And the fuel for all this, the money, it's definitely there. Q3 revenue, what was it? Around $3 billion?
Just over, $3.08 billion.
That's up 11% year over year. So yeah, the foundation is solid, plenty of cash to make these big bets.
Absolutely. The engine's running strong. So let's start right there at the source, the CF franchise.
Okay, let's do it. Their innovation in CF just keeps going. ALYFTREK is the new thing. But why push a new drug so hard when Trikafta was already, the standard? Seems like they're eating their own lunch.
It is deliberate cannibalization, but it's smart. ALYFTREK launched late last year here in the U.S., now rolling out in Europe. And it offers, two key advantages. Clinically, it squeezes out a bit more CFTR function improvement. You can measure it in sweat chloride.
Okay.
And then, crucially, there's the convenience. Once-a-day dosing.
That alone is huge, right? For a lifelong medication, making it simpler has to help people stick with it.
It really does. But the bigger strategic play here is future-proofing. They expect most eligible patients globally will switch to ALYFTREK over time. By driving that switch themselves, now they basically lock in that patient base before the older drugs like Trikafta eventually face generic competition. It keeps control, maintains pricing leverage. It's about the long game.
Smart. Securing the franchise for, another decade? But the really eye-popping news wasn't even ALYFTREK, it was Trikafta in the little ones. The study in kids under 2.
Oh, yeah. That data was, remarkable. Truly breakthrough. In that study, the average drop in sweat chloride was over 70 millimoles per liter.
70.
70. Just let that sink in. That's the biggest reduction we've ever seen with any CFTR modulator in any age group, ever.
Wow. So you're talking about getting these infants almost to normal lung function or close to it? Yeah. What does that imply long term?
It implies fundamentally changing the disease course for these kids. Nearly 70% of them actually got their sweat chloride below 30 millimoles per liter. That's considered normal range.
Incredible.
It's moving beyond just treating symptoms towards something that looks a lot like a functional cure starting from infancy. They're planning global filings for this age group in the first half of 2026.
And they're not even stopping there. The pipeline keeps churning. VX-828 and mRNA therapies.
Right, that's what serial innovation looks like. VX-828 is their next-gen corrector, a 3.0 version. They said it's the most potent one they've ever studied in the lab, in vitro, and it's already started in patients.
Okay.
And also really important, they restarted dosing for VX-522. That's the mRNA therapy aimed at the maybe 5,000 patients who just can't benefit from the current modulators because of their specific gene mutations. They're trying to cover everyone with CF.
And that relentless focus on CF, that's what pays the bills for everything else. So let's pivot. How are those newer launches doing? JOURNAVX, the non-opioid pain drug, what's the uptake like?
It's been pretty quick off the blocks. As of mid-October, over 300,000 prescriptions filled. That's retail and hospital combined. So the volume is there, but, the real test is always access, getting payers on board.
Exactly. How have they navigated that? Because new drugs often get stuck in that limbo, waiting for coverage.
This is where their commercial team seems to be executing really well. They've already got coverage for over 170 million people. That includes formal contracts with 2 of the big 3 national PBMs, the pharmacy benefit managers.
That's huge. Getting the PBMs early is key.
Absolutely. And they also have unrestricted access in 19 state Medicaid plans already. That's pretty good progress.
And they're definitely pushing the opioid-sparing angle. That Phase 4 data looked impressive, but how realistic is that 90% opioid-free number in day-to-day surgery?
It's a fair point. The study showed about 90% of people having certain aesthetic or reconstructive surgeries didn't need opioids afterwards when they used JOURNAVX. Now, compare that to less than 10% historically in the literature for similar procedures.
Big difference.
It is. Now, yes, those are specific types of surgery. But those numbers give them a really strong story to tell doctors and hospitals who are, frankly, desperate for ways to cut down on opioid use post-surgery.
Okay, let's switch gears to the other big launch, CASGEVY, the gene therapy for sickle cell and beta thalassemia. These launches are notoriously complex, right? Slow starts usually.
They are incredibly complex and yet often slow, which is why their forecast of over $100 million in revenue for this year, 2025, is actually pretty notable.
Okay.
You have to remember the whole process. Find the patient, get the referral, collect their cells, manufacture the therapy specifically for them, condition the patient, which is like a chemo regimen, then infuse the modified cells. It's a massive logistical undertaking.
So when they say 39 patients have actually received the infusion by the end of Q3, with 10 in that last quarter,
Yeah.
what does that number tell you underneath?
It tells me they're building capacity and getting smoother. The acceleration from Q2 to Q3 is important. It implies the system is working, the treatment centers are getting up to speed, and the fact that almost 300 patients have been referred since launch, that shows the demand is definitely there.
Right, the pipeline is filling up.
Exactly. They just need to keep scaling the treatment capacity to meet it.
And they're looking internationally, too, especially for beta thalassemia in Europe.
Yes. Big news there recently. They secured reimbursement in Italy.
Italy. Why Italy specifically?
Because Italy has the second largest population of transfusion-dependent thalassemia patients in the world. We're talking maybe 5,000 eligible patients there. Getting access in that market is a really significant step for their global plans.
Okay, so that brings us to what they're calling the fourth vertical, the future, really. The kidney portfolio. This feels like a much bigger strategic shift.
It is. This isn't just adding another drug, it's building a whole new pillar for the company, based on, as they put it, causal human biology and validated targets. They've got programs in 4 different kidney diseases already moving forward in the clinic. They think this can be as big as CF for them eventually.
And the lead horse here is povetacicept, POVY, they call it, a dual BAVEN-APRIL inhibitor. Okay, break that down for us. Beta FF, APRIL. Why hit both?
Right, so BAF and APRIL are basically signals in the body that tell certain immune cells, B cells, and plasma cells to survive and multiply. In autoimmune diseases, like some kidney diseases, these cells produce antibodies that attack the kidney. So by blocking both BAF and APRIL, POVY aims to shut down those signals more completely than drugs that only hit one. It's a broader approach to stop the antibody production damaging the kidneys.
Got it. And the first target is IgA nephropathy, IgAN, where antibodies clog up the kidney's filters. The phase 3 trial, Rainier, moved incredibly fast.
Astonishingly fast. They enrolled about 600 patients in roughly 15 months for a chronic kidney disease phase 3. That's basically light speed. It suggests, high conviction from investigators and strong patient interest.
Yeah, and the regulators seem interested too.
Very. FDA granted breakthrough therapy designation. And they've got rolling review for the BLA, the approval application. They're planning to start submitting that before the end of this year, 2025, aiming to finish in the first half of 26 for accelerated approval. That's pedal to the metal.
Beyond the science, though, for chronic diseases, how people take the drug matters. What's the edge for POVY there?
This could be its biggest practical advantage. It's designed as a once-a-month shot, subcutaneous, so under the skin. Patients can do it themselves at home with an auto-injector.
Ah, like an EpiPen kind of thing.
Sort of, yeah. And the volume is tiny, less than half a milliliter. Think about that compared to maybe needing infusions at a clinic every few weeks or months for managing something for years, potentially life. That convenience is massive.
Huge difference. And because that BAFF-APRIL mechanism is fundamental, they see POVY as more than just an IgAN drug.
Definitely. They call it pipeline in a product. They've already started a phase 23 trial, Olympus, in primary membranous nephropathy, PMN, another kidney disease driven by B cells, and they got FDA fast track for that too. They clearly think this drug has legs across multiple autoimmune conditions, starting in the kidney space.
Okay, and quickly, what else is cooking in this kidney portfolio?
2 others to keep an eye on, inaxaplin for AMKD, that's APL1-mediated kidney disease. The phase 3 interim analysis cohort is fully enrolled. They might file for accelerated approval based on 48-week data if it's positive. And then there's VX407 for polycystic kidney disease, ADPKD. They just started a phase 2 proof-of-concept study called AGL-LO. This one targets a specific genetic subset, maybe up to 10% of ADPKD patients.
So a broad push into kidney disease. Okay, let's wrap with the latest pipeline news and the financial picture. They're taking suzetrigine, the JOURNAVX molecule, beyond acute pain.
Yeah, they're going for the much bigger chronic pain market now, specifically diabetic peripheral neuropathy, DPN. They're starting the second phase 3 trial for DPN literally this month, November 25.
Wow.
And they want to get both of those DPN trials fully enrolled by the end of 2026. So again, moving fast, showing a lot of confidence in that mechanism for chronic nerve pain.
But a bit of a pause on the type 1 diabetes front. Zamisole.
Yeah, a slight hiccup there. Enrollment for phase 3 is done, which is good.
Right.
But they've temporarily paused dosing. It sounds like an internal manufacturing issue they need to sort out.
Like making the cells consistently?
Probably something like that. It's a complex cell therapy. They said they're doing an internal analysis. Smart to pause, make sure everything's perfect before dosing more patients in a phase 3. You have to prioritize safety and quality.
Makes sense. Okay, finally, the financials. They nudged up the revenue guidance for 2025 slightly.
Yeah, just a touch.
Yeah.
Now expecting $11.9 to $12.0 billion for the full year. But the interesting part is on the spending side.
How so?
They also slightly raised the forecast for operating expenses, the non-GAAP number, to between $5.0 and $5.1 billion.
Okay.
And they were very clear why. It's not budget creep. It's directly tied to putting more money into accelerating POVY in the kidney space and also spending more on the commercial side to really push the JOURNAVX launch hard while it has momentum. It's strategic investment.
Got it. Spending money to make money, basically. And they have the cash, $12 billion on hand.
Exactly. And they reiterated their priorities. Internal R&D, external deals or acquisitions for more innovation, and then share buybacks. The focus is clearly on funding this diversification and growth.
So the big picture, the main theme here is really speed and diversification, moving fast from just CF to multiple pillars. Gene therapy, pain, and now this big bet on renal, building moats for the future.
That's the story. Ensuring they aren't just a one-trick pony, no matter how good that trick was.
Right. That's the key takeaway for you listening. Now, let's leave you with a final thought to chew on. We talked about POVY and that BAFF-APRIL mechanism potentially reducing protein in the urine, proteinuria. If that reduction translates strongly into preserving actual kidney function long-term, GFR stabilization, as everyone hopes.
Which is the critical link.
Exactly. If that holds true, just how disruptive will that super convenient monthly at-home shot be, especially in crowded spaces like IgAN? Could that convenience factor completely reshape patient and doctor choices?
It really could. You know, efficacy is king, but when you have potentially similar efficacy, that ease of use, that reduction in treatment burden, it often wins the day in chronic disease. Definitely something to watch closely, especially with data coming at the big ASN Kidney Conference soon.
Absolutely. Keep an eye on that ASN data. That's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.